the very beginning, everything was dark because I didn't have my eyes open. All I knew is that every once in a while I could find this beautiful smelling, great tasting nipple. And I could suck on that, and it was the most great food I could ever get. I just loved it, and that's my first impression of the world. Black, couldn't see anything, and a great tasting nipple. And then I could hear all my other siblings, but I couldn't see them. I realized real quick that there was a lot of them. And so eventually, as the days went by, I had to fight a little bit for my place. You know what I'm talking about, Bestie?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You had to fight too, but you had bigger siblings, right?
Bigger siblings and a bigger nipple.
And bigger nipple to nipple. Anyway, so after a couple of weeks, I started to see the light, and I could see my siblings, and it was still comfortable because every day I just would take nice naps, big naps, southern style naps, and I'd be with my siblings. There's I think 4 or 5 more of us, but I always seemed to be able to nose my way into the best spot on my mama, the best spot, right? So we all grew up pretty fast. And one day I'm just sucking on that beautiful nipple of my mama's, and I hear the bell on the door of the Bark and Biscuit ring. Mm-hmm. And I hear this loudmouth guy coming in, and he's saying some stuff. Now I understand what he said. Then I didn't understand much, but now I understand. He said, "Hey, you got any Frenchies?" And I hear BB say, "Well, we got some Frenchies," and then LMA says, "Yeah, that should come and show you," So the next thing I know is I'm hearing this loudmouth guy, and he's coming around, and he's saying, "Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. A Frenchy. I want a Frenchy." And LMA, she's just a sweet thing. She says, "Well, you can't have him yet. You want that one?" And I say, "Yeah, I want that one. That one looks like he's the leader." So before I knew anything about being a leader, I was a leader. And so this guy, I come to find out his name was Mick Stanky. And he lived down on the river in a shed, and he was a crawfish guy. He smelled like fish, And I just remember I'm there sucking away with my siblings down there on my mama, and all of a sudden he picks me up, and I hear this nipple go pop, and he says, "Yeah, I want this one." And LMA says, "Oh no, you can't have that one because he got to be 10 weeks old. You cannot take a dog at a little puppy. It was only 8 weeks old because they're not ready for that." So he said, "Okay," and he kind of slammed me down again, and I quit whimpering and went back to my comfy zone. And about some time later, probably 2 weeks or so, I hear the bell ring again on the door. And here comes this guy, loudmouth. I recognize that guy's loudmouth. He says, "I'm back. I want my Frenchy." That's what he's saying. "I want my Frenchy." He always send my Frenchy, like I'm going to be owned by somebody, right? So the next thing I know, he's grabbing me, and he's got me under his arm, and he's taking me up to the front desk, and he's saying, "I want this one. How much?" And LMA was by herself. And BB wasn't there, and LMA is a sweet thing, but she didn't know what to do. He was moving so fast. She gave him a price, and he slammed cash down, said, "Okay, great, here it is," and he left. And LMA was beside herself. She did not know, because I could tell that she really didn't like the idea. So the next thing I know is I'm underneath this smelly crawfish guy, and I'm out going out the door. I hear the bell ring, but now it's on the other side, and he walks to this funky-looking truck. It says crawfish on the side, and I hear the door squeak open, and he throw me in this cage. And the cage is funky. It's no comfortable place in it. It's just wire. And so I'm trying to get comfortable, and I'm crying and I'm whimpering, and I don't like this. And before I know it, I hear the sound of an engine, and I hear him take off, or it feels like I'm taking off. Now I know what it was, but I didn't know then. And he's taking off, and he's got the radio on, and it's some country music or something funky. And we get to this house. I guess it was his house down by the river. And I hear the door open, and he grabbed me, and he pulled me out. Like there was no. I was used to Ella May. Ella May was soft and gentle. She was a sweetheart. I couldn't wait for her to come and get me. But she wasn't coming and get me now. It was this guy. He had rough hands and smelled, oh gosh, he smelled like crawfish. If you don't know what a crawfish is, they're good when they're fresh. When they're not fresh, they don't smell too good. So then he took me into his house. Now, there was no water bowl. There was no food. I was hungry. I was used to eating whenever I wanted to eat. There was nothing. So I was whimpering and I was crying, and he kept yelling at me to shut up.